the very final kart in this race.
Yep, he's last out to qualify, which will help because obviously the grip will rise a little bit, but it depends if he can pull a good lap off. We'll have to wait and see as they exit out the pits now to do their out lap and then their quali, and then see what order they come in.
Absolutely. So we can sort of read a little bit into the out lap, purely because people are trying full speed. This it continues with this idea that they will not have driven on this track. They've seen it now, but watched other people race, but they won't have actually driven on it themselves. So we can expect maybe a few pluses and minuses in terms of where people figured they would be on the grid. Jamie Henderson is here actually, and he's put a time in there, so we know that we've got a bit of a full field on this one.
Yep, we've got
10 karts.
Yep, I think we've got all 10 in this one, which is great to see. At least we've got the full maximum in this one. Let's see what they do in their qualifying lap.
Jamie Henderson, who I think is the first kart out, he's actually a car racer racing Formula V at the moment. So this is obviously his sort of winter competition, and in the summer he's strapped into something rather than being loose in the seats as per a kart. But Jamie Henderson there in the 12, he's been dropped actually by Kyle Power. Kyle Power on the provisional pole at the moment with a 35.3. Ramon Pinero, oh wow, that's 5/10, half a second up now. Provisional pole for Ramon Pinero. I think that's a done deal, but here comes Gary Jones. Here comes Gary Jones. Magtalinks has moved to second. Joris Sturm into second instead. And Gary Jones in third to complete the qualifying there. Gary Jones puts it in third. It's the Spaniard Ramon Pinero who will start this race from the pole position, the only driver inside 35 seconds with a 34.8. Joris Sturm is in second for the start here, followed by Gary Jones, William Jan Magtalinks, and then Kyle Power, fifth place. I think Kyle might be a little bit disappointed with that, Lewis.
I think he will, yeah, but you have to see. He may make it up in the race, but we know he can do it because he is very fast, as we know. Fifth on the grid, because that's what, speak from my experience in that last year's heat when I won from fifth on the grid, so anything can happen.
Absolutely, and literally, because it's a fairly open race, this one, perhaps apart from Pinero. We've got sixth place Jamie Henderson, the Formula V racer, Luke Skilton, followed by F1 commentator and race driver. He has actually competed against the likes of Max Verstappen and people like that. Will Buxton, Sebastian Raikkonen, former sidecar racer, and Sam Ensinger in 10th place. Ensinger there with a 36.2. So if he can find a little bit of pace, he can probably get in the mix there because he's 0.2 behind the next kart ahead. So we'll see what happens to the back of the grid there with Sam Ensinger. But meantime, going to be leading around in a second. It's going to be Ramon Pinero, and I know he's starting on the pole, so it's an easy hit. But he is my tip for the win there, Lewis. So I can't really see beyond Ramon, although I'm sure the others, certainly the top four, will try and have something to say about that.
Yeah, only one in the 34s in the qualifying, quarter of a second head, so that's going to settle him down a bit as they're doing their rolling start now, and wait to see Ramon goes on the power, which he is now. So
Ramon's very early on the gas. He's trying to catch them all out by outpowering away, but Joris Sturm has not been left. False start, yeah, a little bit of a gap there. To be fair, Lewis, as they were coming up that, there was a lot of weaving going on, and I think that just backed them all up because there were some people at the back of the field who were actually almost at a standstill coming through when Ramon Pinero actually got on the gas. So a mixture of them being very slow because everyone else had backed up by weaving about, and Ramon Pinero being extra early on the gas, just strangling the field out too much. We'll see what happens. They're coming back around to take that restart. They're forming up back into line. Look how far back some of the tail are. They'll bring them to a halt to make sure that everyone forms up a consistent line here. Sean Briley, we've got Sean Briley up here. Thanks to Lewis Manley for helping out with the commentary there. Sean, an outstanding race we've just seen you in. We're going to get this race underway and then we'll come back to you because that was an amazing win. So the restart, the second start, we've got Ramon Pinero. They're still backing up there. Ramon needs to just maintain a constant speed and then hit the gas. He's looking over his shoulder. He's trying to cause a bit of confusion as much as he can get away with. Again, he's early on the gas and he makes the break from Joris Sturm, but Sturm's close this time. Gary Jones equal distance, and through in fourth place is going to be Kyle Power. Sean Briley, we've got a good start here. I'm thinking it could be Ramon Pinero, but another newcomer, Joris Sturm, really giving him a run for his money on this opening lap.
Yeah, well, actually, after the initial gap that Ramon pulled, Joris has closed in a lot, and they both seem to have dropped Gary Jones a bit. I can see this being a two-horse fight in the end.
Yeah, Joris Sturm was involved in quite a heavy three-cart fight in the earlier heat race. Gary Jones, though, is not somebody we want to sort of leave out. We don't know really about William Jan Maxelinks, the Belgian driver, but he's shown well so far. And then, of course, there's Carl Power, another one that we don't want to rule out.
No, it's a very quick heat, but as you can see, just looking at the two, Joris is now starting to really push Ramon. And what lap times they're going in? Yeah, they're going 4/10 over Gary Jones and the rest of the field just on the opening lap.
Yeah, and the fastest of them all on that opener there was Joris Sturm with a 35.0. Surely we're going to be in the 34s straight away in this one. Pinero and Sturm are trying to pull away from Gary Jones there. Yes, we're in the 34s already with Pinero and Sturm both doing 34.8. Absolutely searing pace there, Sean Bradley. These two are trying to break away from the field now. Gary Jones is obviously doing his best, but they're pulling away.
Yeah, and again, another 4/10. Looks like there's another battle of three. Gary Jones, Willem and Carl Power are now closing in.
Absolutely. William Jan Maxelinks in that sandwich. They're battling over third place there, led by Gary Jones. A lot of push and shoving down the bottom of here. Into the hairpin, slightly unseen, but at the moment, as they cross in the line to complete yet another lap, this is 4 laps into the books now. It is Ramon Pinero followed by Joris Sturm. Now, we know what Pinero's capable of. He's capable of winning this race. Joris Sturm, we don't know what they're capable of, but it looks like they're capable of matching Ramon Pinero, so that's saying something.
Absolutely, and anyone who decides to come down with the Bootons is obviously going to have some form of speed about them. But he's not just keeping him honest. I feel like Ramon's actually holding him up a little bit, and Joris just doesn't want to start tapping the back of him just yet. The problem is that now that they're pulling away, if Joris has to make a move on track, because if he pits, Ramon will just simply cover him. And there's someone in the pits.
It looks like it's Will Buxton. Will Buxton pits from 8th place. It does drop him to 10th, of course, but he's got that pit out of the way. So that's an interesting strategy there from Will Buxton. It didn't seem as though Will was being held up by anybody. So I'm assuming he's purely pitted so that he can get to a rhythm and stay in it till the very end.
Yeah, well, the small little kerfuffle we had down at the top straight was actually Will trying to make a move. He did drop off a little bit, but I feel like he was a little bit under pressure. He wants to get on his own. He thinks he's faster, and he can probably clear that group from 7th back quite easily, he feels.
Absolutely, and that is the general reason for such an early pit stop, so that would tie in nicely with what you say there, Sean. Meantime, it is still Ramon Pinero from Joris Sturm. Well, what can you say? Sturm is clearly not really trying to attack Pinero right now. Maybe focusing on just pulling out some kind of gap over third, so they're leaving it to themselves to fight. That is a fairly confident strategy, I would say. Oh, what? He has. Where did that come from? Into the final turn, my goodness. Okay, well, we're looking for see if we can get a little bit of a replay on that, but it's Joris Sturm, and there's set a new personal best and the fastest lap of the race. So Joris Sturm, from being the attacker, is now going to be the defender, and Ramon Pinero has got a lot of work to do to pass Sturm. They're 7 laps in, and Joris Sturm has taken the lead. It's Sturm from Pinero, from Gary Jones, similar sort of distance, but a switch of lead. That was quite an opportunistic one.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm pretty sure that because they're just two battling, it's quite easy to undercut someone and then Ramon can just defend. So Joris had to make that move, and what a move it was. It's the first move we've actually seen down at this final corner, a corner which Ed White loved in previous years, especially in his races against Brad in 2014. But no, fantastic move, and actually he's creating a little bit of a gap for himself. He's got a full kart length now. Absolutely.
We saw over the years, we've seen some great moves into that very corner. We've seen some race deciders and some that really haven't worked at all. And Joris Sturm has made it work in this occasion. Still, Sturm and Pinero are pulling away from Gary Jones and the William Jan Maxelinks and Carl Power battle. And obviously, Pinero, he's going to try, I think, to come back at Joris Sturm. But Joris Sturm, from thinking about possibly pitting to gain the lead, is now probably going to leave it even longer. We've got someone in the pits. It's the is that the 15? I think that's yes, it is. It's Sam Ensinger. Sam Ensinger there was in the pit. He's rejoined. He's dropped back to 10th place, coming out behind Will Buxton. Leaders cross the line again. That is Joris Sturm but now a new fastest lap has gone to Ramon Pinheiro. These two are going backwards and forwards in terms of who is setting the record pace. Ramon Pinheiro is now the fastest in this race. He's second place. Clearly he means business, Sean.
No, absolutely, and this is going to come down to pit stops. It seems that they're both a lot better at following the other one than they are at leading. And now that Ramon's seen that he is actually technically quicker than Joris at this stage, I think he's just going to be given a burst of confidence.
He is. He's absolutely glued to the back of Joris Sturm. As you say, anyone who comes here with the booties is going to be feeling pretty confident and is probably bringing a fair dose of speed with them. However, Ramon Pinheiro has got a huge load of speed of his own, and he's making Joris Sturm really work for this. Sturm has the lead, but he's probably under more pressure than ever from Pinheiro. I think Pinheiro's close right in him. I think we can see something from Pinheiro in the next few laps. Here they come down the backstretch. Is Pinheiro going to have a go? No, he's not. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he takes the lead. Oh, what a move there by Pinheiro. So this is a previous corner, and we saw Joris Sturm just glance the barrier there. That's what we were looking at on that one. But Pinheiro has now taken the lead on the other end of the circuit, and Joris Sturm, from being attacker, is now defender. Guess what? Ramon Pinheiro, new personal fastest lap and fastest lap of the race so far. He has the lead.
Just looking a bit further down now, Gary Jones, Willem are both dropping Carl Power a bit. It doesn't look like Carl Power can stay with them, but Willem is starting to speed up. And last lap, fraction quicker than Gary. It looks like those two might have a battle for third unless Carl can find just a little bit more pace. All he needs is a tenth of a second.
Absolutely, and this time the battle of the race is right up there at the front for first place. It's Ramon Pinheiro from Joris Sturm just running through the other positions. We've got Gary Jones in third, William Jan Maxtelinks in fourth, Carl Power fifth. Looking further down the order now, it's Henderson in sixth, Luke Skilton seventh, Sebastian Raikkonen eighth, Will Buxton in ninth, and Sam Ensinger in 10th. But here's that battle for the lead coming down the backstretch now. There it is. It's Ramon Pinheiro, the young Spaniard, versus Joris Sturm. I'm assuming Sturm's a Dutchman, but I'm not even sure about that. What I do know, though, is he's very fast. He's in second place, although Pinheiro has, well, on the previous lap, he went fastest again. This lap, not quite so quick, but Sturm is closer than ever. Sturm not afraid to have a punt at him, and not least of which an opportunity to punt. Will it come down the backstretch? I said, will it happen for Pinheiro? I didn't think it would, but it did. Will Sturm do the same? He's going to be thinking about it. He's going to be thinking about it. He's not going to be able to do it. Pinheiro saw that one coming, didn't he?
Pinheiro's gone slightly defensive into there. He's already well aware that actually it's just those two in a race now. So all he needs to do is keep him behind to the pit stop, hit the next lap, cover him off.
And I've known Ramon Pinheiro myself for a few years now, and I'll tell you something right here. This is a guy who really loves to race. He likes to take people on in a straight fight. Strategy isn't really his great skill, as we've seen when he failed to make a pit stop at all in one race last year. Needless to say, he won. Needless to say, Ollie Demetrius Fox was the first one to go straight down there and bust him, and obviously he was denied that win. He's got a race with Joris Sturm. Now, I don't know how Joris Sturm feels about battling. I think he's enjoying it, because if he wasn't enjoying it, he would have pitted out of this. I think he's enjoying taking the fight from Pinheiro, and Pinheiro loves attacking or defending.
Yeah, complete racer. As you can see, just from the last few corners, he's not fully out, he's not fully defending. He's kind of halfway across. The screen's got darkness for a second, but this is the closest Joris has been so far, and I'm assuming Ramon's going to come right to the inside last moment, but let's see what Joris can do, see if he can make a move.
Absolutely. Pinheiro had a little look over his shoulder there to see what Joris was going to do. Joris wasn't exactly feigning anything, so Pinheiro figured it was safe to stay on line. Oh, and look at that, absolutely no sale. They're crossing the line now. We're going to see him come into view in a second. Here they are. There's Ramon Pinheiro, the Spaniard, from Joris Sturm, the Dutchman, fighting over first place in a British Championship race. Was Sturm having a look there? I don't think so, but it certainly seems to be slightly to the inside. They're coming onto the backstretch. There's Will Buxton there in the 21. So Buxton, and followed by 15, Samuel Ensinger. Now here's the lead battle. It is Ramon Pinheiro, Joris Sturm. Pinheiro still the fastest. They've not set a new personal best, either of these two, for a couple of laps out, but even despite that, they're still the fastest two on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, this they're only a few tenths off, but that's just a slightly tighter line that Ramon's been taking. But this is the problem now that he's going to have, and every leader so far has had, is how to navigate the back markers. And we've seen some people be able to do it fine as Ramon goes a little bit defensive into the back corner.
Very defensive. Sorry, Sean, just look a little bit behind. They came into view there. Gary Jones and William Jan Mattelinks. William Jan Mattelinks is now much closer to Gary Jones. He set a new personal best on the previous lap to put him right on Jones's tail. We got a nose-to-tail fight for first. We got a nose-to-tail fight for second. And it's all kicking off here. Ramon Pinero is currently leading, though, from Joris Sturm. And there's the battle behind for third place. It's Gary Jones and William Jan Mattelinks. Look at them go. There's Pinero, there's Sturm. Here comes Jones and Mattelinks. It really is a tight one, Sean.
Yeah, Ramon's looking behind him a lot. And now, look at this. 3 back markers coming up. One of these two has to blink first to see if they can pit. And let's see if one of them decides to actually try and battle his way through. I wouldn't recommend it. Most people who try to battle the way through seem to have lost out. But Ramon slightly defensive again into the back corner.
I think Ramon, he's gonna try and battle his way through this. Yes, he could have pitted there. He did not take the opportunity to pit. He's pretty keen now. Everything about, look at his body language. So we've got the back marks. There's Sam there, and as the leaders come through, Ramon's very body language seems racing. He's hunched over the wheel there. He's really sort of keen to have a punt at just about anybody who appears in his sight. Sam Ensing is going to be the first one they get to. He's running 10th place, and then close up ahead of him is going to be, who is it? It's Luke Skilton. So here's the leaders. They're closing on Sam Ensinger there. It's we've seen Sam Ensinger be very gentlemanly in terms of letting people through. He's got the 2 race leaders bearing in on him, but I don't think Ramon cares whether there's blue flags or not. He's going to fight his way through. Joris Sturm, from what we've seen, is going to try and fight his way through not only the back marker, but Pinero as well, because he is one fierce racer running in second.
Absolutely. I think Ramon's time to pit is now, because even if he pits now, he knows that he's forcing Joris into fighting the other guys. And Joris will have to react and pit the next lap unless he can clear them.
Absolutely, and Sam Ensinger, sportsman that he is, has moved out of the way on the back part of the circuit. That's let the 2 leaders through. The next one that they're going to catch is Luke Skilton. Now, I think that where they're going to catch him probably means we'll see a bit of a blue flag. There probably wasn't time for Ensinger, but Ensinger was aware of the situation. And that battle for third still rated on Gary Jones and William Jan Mattelinks. Look at them go. Here they are in view now. There's Gary Jones in the red suit. Mattelinks following him. It's as close as the lead.
Absolutely. This is one of the more entertaining races we've had the pleasure of watching here, James, as Ramon again goes defensive. Now, he's backed up behind 2. Someone's got to blink and pit here. One of them has to. No, they're both going round again.
Oh, their race is the pair of them now. They've got Luke Skilton and then Will Buxton. Now, Will Buxton's going to get caught by the leaders after Skilton does. Now, it's going to be interesting for Will Buxton because he commentates on the Formula 1. If he doesn't get out of the way, he's going to lose the right to complain about anyone in Formula 1 for the entire season next year.
I'm pretty sure we'll never let him live that one down, James.
No, we won't. We'll be emailing MBS or NBC, whoever it is he commentates for. We'll be following that one with Will. If he slips up, we'll be right on it. Anyhow, Will Buxton is the next one they're going to face. Now, will they pit, Sean? They've not pitted yet. They've fought their way through. Oh, they're not pitting now. Races the pair, and they're going to take Will Buxton on man to man. Will Buxton, we expect to see a blue flag. Will he move out the way? Like I say, he commentates on the Formula 1 for the American channels. And if he doesn't move out the way, he will lose the right to criticise anyone in Formula 1. So, oh my goodness, that's close. Will does let them through, though, gentleman though he is. He's not really causing any problem there. So, down the back straight, here he is in the lead. It's Ramon Pinero. Now, that was as close to a middle line as you can take without losing time, I think. Yeah, just catching the front there was Joris Sturm on Will Buxton. But no harm done to either, because Sturm is still right on the case of Ramon Pinero. Sean, one thing I want to bring up, not only have we not seen a pit stop from any of the top 4 yet, we haven't seen a pit stop lately. Oh, talking of which, someone's in, just as I mentioned it, the 9 car. It's William Jan Mattelinks, pits out of 4th place. He's obviously got sick of the sight of Gary Jones and is trying to strategise himself out the front, but Will Buxton is closing in fast. Will Buxton's closing in fast on him, and I think that's technically for position. Is it? No, it's not. Buxton is not close enough. Sorry about that. I thought that was going to be for position, but Mattelinks continues, but he's in 5th place now.
I'll tell you what's interesting though, Carl Power is
Jones in the pit.
Oh, Jones is in the pits. Now this is interesting because Carl Power got a lot closer there. Now Jones's first stop is good. Comes up for the second stop. Where's Willem? He's coming around the final corner. This needs to be a good exit.
In fact, it needs to be more than good. It needs to be marvellous. Oh, do you know what? That looks exactly like that was 4th position, and it looks exactly like Sean Briley on Matt Barsh in the previous race. What an incredible pass there by William Jan Mattelinks. It was that I thought that was Mattelinks. Okay, so we'll consider what we're doing. We've got the 8 kart. Is Sebastian Raikkonen in the pits?
It sounds to me like Sebastian Raikkonen might have actually blown the first pit stop, unfortunately for him. It looks like he's going to have to go and do a second one. But no, James, sorry to correct you there, but Gary Jones was fighting with Willem, and Gary Jones has just gone past the start line. You'll see Willem just coming across right now. The person who actually jumped Gary Jones was Jamie Henderson, who's yet to pit.
Gosh, you're right there, Sean, and I was so surprised at that. I didn't even consider it would be Jamie Henderson, and Jamie Henderson absolutely nailed Gary Jones as he came out the pits there. He had to do it, he made it work, and he's taken 3rd place as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking further down here, whilst we've been looking up at that battle, the gap between 1st and 2nd has grown exponentially. Ramon is very clear, and he's gesturing towards the marshals about something, a bumping warning perhaps.
Well, knowing Ramon, I'm sure he won't mind when I say that's pretty good coming from him. What's going on with Ramon Pinheiro? Something's gone wrong with Pinheiro, surely. It may well be that he's done something that he feels guilty about. I mean, it's a bit on the slow side, and Joris Sturm as well. There may have been some contact between the two, and Pinheiro has had to allow Sturm to repass. We've missed that. We were looking and considering the 3rd place battle with Jones and Henderson. We'll be back onto it, but at the moment we've got Joris Sturm in the lead, very closely followed by Ramon Pinheiro, who's the fastest on the track as we speak. Henderson 3rd, Jones 4th, and William Jan Maxlink 5th place.
Yeah, what we missed, James, was a bad pass flag that Ramon's received for one of his moves, which unfortunately I believe may have been off camera. As his hands up.
He's waving. Could this be a pit stop? Could it be? Yes, it is. It's a pit stop. It's a pit stop by Ramon Pinheiro. That was very close on the first stop. Very, very close. I really thought he was going to jump the green light there, but he's made it. He's made it. It's all good. It's all okay. Could this be? I just can't feel that was one of the better stops we've seen today, Sean.
No, it was okay, but he stopped halfway across, which meant he wasn't able to roll the kart as much as he wanted to. As Gary Jones has made his way past Jamie Henderson on track. Jamie Henderson is slightly out of position, having not pitted yet. But now, where's Joris Sturm? Joris Sturm's coming into the pits. This is what we want to see. Now, where's Ramon? Right, now this could make or break the race. It's vital he gets out of this on time. He's blown it.
Joris Sturm. Now, that was interesting because we saw Ramon Pinheiro bring his car absolutely to a stop to avoid jumping that green line, which you picked up on, Sean. The casual viewers may not realise what it is. The karts don't have to come to a stop. They just have to not cross that marking line before the green light comes on. So you could go very slowly but keep moving. Ramon Pinheiro stopped that close. He had to stop. Unfortunately, Joris Sturm did the same, but he kept pushing forward. And unfortunately, he's going to get busted for that. There's no way that Ollie Demetrius Fox is going to let that one go.
No, absolutely not. He's going to have to stop this lap. If he doesn't stop this lap and take the 2nd pit stop, he will be deducted 1 place. And yet, here he comes in again. Joris Sturm in for his 2nd pit stop. The first one was the one he threw.
Absolutely.
First one's good. Yeah.
And he knows it's over. And someone else is going to get affected. The 12 Cup. Henderson was trying to leapfrog, but look at this. It's affected him. It's a terrible show for poor Jamie Henderson. And the big loser there was Jamie Henderson. I know Sturm has lost 2nd, but at least that was his fault. It wasn't Jamie Henderson's fault. There we can see Henderson's got to wait. He didn't expect Sturm. He saw Sturm pit on the previous lap, and the checker flag is coming out, and this is it. And it's going to be Ramon Pinheiro. Ramon Pinheiro takes the win. Here he comes over the line. Pinheiro wins it. Gary Jones up to 2nd. William Jan Maxlink's up to 3rd. Kyle Power 4th. And it's Joris Sturm dropping from 2nd to 5th. My goodness.
I think that race had everything. It's worth noting, I don't think Jamie would have actually lost anything. I think where he was in position on track, he had enough of a gap back to Will Buxton, who had been lapped. So he had a plenty of gap. I don't think backing up really did anything too terrible to him.
No, absolutely. We've got Ramon Pinheiro with the win, Gary Jones 2nd, William Jan Maxlink's in 3rd, Kyle Power 4th, Joris Sturm we saw dropping to 5th place. 6th was Jamie Henderson. Up into 7th came Will Buxton, so he made up some positions on his start. Luke Skilton, Sam Ensinger came into 9th place, and Sebastian Raikkonen finishing there in 10th. But what a race that was. We've seen some great racing so far today, Sean. Even though they've not been on this revised circuit, just to give some variation to it, we're still seeing some great races, aren't we?
Yeah, and actually I think the fact that we're on this new circuit, which people haven't seen before, is making for some extra good racing. You're seeing people who don't really know the circuit, who were great on the other one, maybe can't adapt to a new circuit, or at least half a circuit this well. and they're struggling. And then, you know, we have people like Callum Conway, who really adapted to that new circuit in order to split Ruben Boutins and Lewis Manley. And great second place in what we considered, James, to be the death heat of the competition.
Absolutely, and we considered it to be the death heat, but Ruben Boutins made it look fairly straightforward. Like I said at the time, from Boutins we saw why he's a three-time champion there and why he's possibly one of, if not the, finest driver in the world at the moment in terms of indoor rental karting. We're going to move on to Heat 6. Hang on. Yeah, we're going to move on to Heat 6. But there's going to be a little bit of a gap. The carts are going to be refueled, checked over. So we're going to take a bit of a breather now. If you've been enjoying the action online, we thank you for joining us, and please stay with us. As I say, we're expecting to resume at 5 o'clock. It's just gone 4:30 UK time. If you're following in Europe, just going to give us half an hour to get things sorted out, because what's coming up next is going to be another fairly interesting race, because Regis Ghoslan, former WRX World Rallycross driver and Kart World Championship front runner, almost won the title last year. Just a few problems cost him. Jacob Lewis is up there. Lewis Nurse, Elite Kart League race winner.
There you go, James.
That's the one. It got out there in the end, didn't it? Chris Matchell, we saw some star shows from him last year. Tony Kazugel, Brent Gaskin, who's been around BRKC for ages. Robin Kassam, he was a semi-finalist a couple of years ago. Zagos Olenčević, he's up in this one. Patrick Niroda, another winner from earlier on, and of course Thomas Zels, who won races last year, who we saw earlier on. So quite a lot coming up in the next race to get excited about. We're going to be back, as I say, at about 5 o'clock. So please rejoin us then. Sean, it's going to be another humdinger, isn't it?
Absolutely, and Regis has something to go for now, because he would have expected to win the first heat, but he's got some points to make up. And, well, up against Patrick Niroda, who looked pretty intense, and Thomas Zell.